Hi, I'm JimmyNavio. Hello, and welcome to Hit the Bucket. How is everyone doing? I am so sorry that we did not have an episode last week. Life keeps getting in the way lately. I got a lot going on. I'm hoping I can keep this up, but I'm glad we're here this week because there was a lot of news. A lot of things happened this week, so we wanted to do an episode and talk about it. Before we do that, though, no guest today, just me and James. So, sorry. It's just us. Gonna nerd out for a little bit. But before I do that, let's get some business out of the way. This is live. We are doing this live right now at twitch.tv/JimmyNavio. So if you're listening to this on Spotify or YouTube or whatever, and you want to come participate in the podcast, please come on over. twitch.tv/JimmyNavio. Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. When it actually happens, we'll try and be more consistent. Also, we do have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/JimmyNavio. We have a playlist with all of the episodes of Hit the Bucket, along with some other stuff. But if you want to go watch the episodes afterward, if the nice edited versions where everything's all cleaned up and you know, the volume is all equalized, the YouTube is the place to watch them. Also, we do this, if you're watching this on Twitch or YouTube and you're like, you know what, I want to listen to this in my car. It's on Google Podcasts, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, hitthebucket.com. There's lots of places to find us. You can just Google Hit the Bucket Podcast, and you can find us in whatever format you want to listen in. Also, if you want to reach out to us, it's hitthebucketpodcast@gmail.com. And I'm going to be that guy, and I'm going to ask you guys to please download the episodes, listen, review them, rate them, subscribe, all that stuff. The numbers, especially when we're starting a podcast, it's not YouTube. You don't got to smash a like button. But if you're listening to this on Google, you can hit the little thing that says review, type a little review, or hit 5 stars, or whatever, or 3 stars, 2 stars, 1 star, whatever. Something is better than nothing. It helps us out a lot. Any type of downloads or reviews or ratings that we get, it helps. It puts us in a better ranking. The more activity there is, whether good or bad, it doesn't matter. Just activity in general helps us be seen by more eyeballs. So, if you could do that, that would be awesome. I'd really appreciate it. We would like more people to find out about us, but we can't do that if you guys don't help us. We can't do it by ourselves. I'm too busy. I wish I could do this full time. I wish I could just promote the podcast all day, because I would. But I can't quit my day job yet. We gotta get more eyeballs in here. So tell your friends, retweet, rate, review, subscribe, all that stuff. And there, I'm done plugging our shits. Sorry, but we have to do it. I really want people to find out that we're here nerding out. People don't know. So that's it. That's all the business shits. And I'm gonna go ahead and bring James on, and we're gonna talk about all the crazy stuff that's happened in the last 2 weeks. Let me switch it on over here. Oh, hold on. There we go. Hey, look, our shirts match.
Oh, they do.
When we were setting up before the podcast, I didn't even notice that.
Mm-hmm, both got that. This is burgundy.
Yeah. Look at us.
Mine is a long sleeve.
True. Show off. Hold on one second. All right. Sorry about that. My video was wigging out. How are you, James? It's been a couple weeks.
It has been, yeah. I'm doing well. Just had spring break last week, so I had a very much needed rest from the semester. It was not long enough.
What'd you do on your spring break?
I did nothing.
What?
And it was nice. I'm broke. I had to pay my tuition deposit and my housing deposit in the same week, and that week was before spring break. And that just slashed my entire bank account.
Oh, you didn't go out and you're in a college town? Go find some fly honeys?
No, all the fly honeys left.
True.
They went to warmer weather.
They're like all in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
How is the weather there? Is it still frozen?
We had a high of 40 something today, so sun was shining. I could go outside in just a hoodie, didn't need gloves. It was a beautiful day.
Did you say 40?
40.
Wow.
It's still at night it goes back to freezing temp, so it's still pretty cold, but it's warmer than what it has been. I was concerned because it snowed like last Wednesday, and I was just getting told like, yeah, we're getting up to the 50s again, and I was like, it does not look it.
Yeah. I actually saw some snow this past weekend as well. I was up in I don't know if you're familiar with Tahoe. I was up Lake Tahoe.
Mm-hmm. I've definitely heard of it.
It's beautiful. It's covered in snow right now. Like I was driving down it had just snowed like the week or two before, so there was just piles of snow on the sides because they plow the roads, but they just push it all up, so it made like there was 6 feet plus like walls of snow on both sides of the road as I'm driving down it, So it was beautiful up there. The weather was cold, but the sun was out. There's casinos up there. I was up there for my friend Clint's bachelor party. So we had some fun. My buddy, he used to be
not too much fun, I hope.
No, well, here's the thing. My friend Clint, he used to be the party, like as extroverted that I claim to be. He's like times 100. Like the stories this guy's got, when I tell stories about Clint, people don't even believe that they're true. They're on. I can't even. Maybe one day we'll tell some stories about Clint, but he's a crazy man. I'd love to have him on the podcast someday. But within the last few years, he's completely gone 100%. He's on the wagon. He hasn't drank, I think, in like a year or two. He got a law degree and got engaged, and he's getting married. Obviously, we're having a bachelor party. So when I showed up, I was a day late to the bachelor party. When I showed up, he basically implied that I have to carry the torch for him because he can't drink. So he expected me. And then
that's when you hit him with the, I can't drink either.
No, I'm not there yet. I showed up ready to drink. So when I showed up, he handed me a coffee mug, half full of Jack Daniel's whiskey. For those who may not know, he handed me a coffee mug half full of Jack, which a coffee mug half full of Jack, that's like 2, probably 3 shots. And
depending on the size.
And he's a very persuasive individual, so he hands it to me and just stands there and waits. Like, no, you're drinking this now because you just showed up.
It's the implication.
Yeah, so
Jimmy's not going to say no. Not here. Not in this social environment.
Well, it's his bachelor party, and I'm a people pleaser, so he knew I would do it. So that's how my weekend, this past weekend, started. Was my best friend since I've known him since freshman year of high school, since I was like 15. So yeah, that was and then we went to the casinos. We drank before we went to a nice restaurant. We went to a very nice restaurant and proceeded to continue drinking. I'm pretty sure I made a complete ass of myself at said fancy restaurant. There's a picture,
as most people do.
There's a picture of me with I'll have to post it in the IRL channel. Maybe I can pull it up. There's a picture of me with maybe I can pull it up during the podcast. At some point I had like my napkin draped over my head, like Mother Teresa style, while at the table. So, excuse me. Meshyf says, I'm disappointed that we didn't see hilarious IRL photos. I will post them. There were many photos taken. I lost $50.
Well, that's to be expected.
In the casinos. Well, I took out 100, so.
Okay, not bad, not bad.
I did. I had some restraint. I lost that $50 real fast. I was like, nah, I'm good. I think I'm just gonna. He played one hand. No, it's actually like
it gets you when you win some money because you're like, ooh, I doubled what I brought. That's more I can play with.
Yeah. No, it was a couple hands of blackjack, and then half of it was lost on blackjack and half of it was lost on a slot machine, and then I was done. I set a limit, and I said, that's the trick, right? You just set a limit and say, this is for entertainment. You never expect to win. If you do, it's just a pleasant surprise, but like, I'm gonna lose X amount of money, and then you're fine.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to stick to that.
So when you start thinking, I'm only down like $100. Yeah. Only 100. I can win it back. Just one more roll, one more hand.
Yeah, I gotta win it back. But drive all the way to Vegas and spend $50 gambling. Do you go to the grocery store and buy just one egg? It wasn't Vegas. It was
Lake Tahoe.
Which Lake Tahoe, Meshyf, is about the same distance from me that Vegas is from you. So I guess you have a point. But that's not why I was there. I was there to entertain one of my best friends who was there for his bachelor party, and he had to live vicariously through me because he couldn't drink and whatnot. So, And that night, one more tale of that adventure. That night, we ended up going home fairly early, but there was a fairly large group. At one point, we got split up into a couple groups, and some of us went back to the house. They rented they did Airbnb, like a pretty cool little house up there.
Like a 12-bedroom mansion.
It wasn't 12 bedrooms. It was like 4 or 5 bedrooms. So we were hanging out. Some people were still out. Eventually, we got tired. People went to their assigned rooms or whatever, and I just kind of passed out on the couch. And a couple hours later, I get woken up by 2 of the guys came stumbling in the front door, like plastered, like off they dumpstered, just so off their ass, and they're talking to each other, and I get waken up. I don't say anything, so I just lay on the couch and listen to their conversation. And one of them was exactly what you're saying, James. He's like, no, we got to go back. Let's go back. Like, he's like, we can win. Let's win. And just like would not let up. And the other guy was like
$2,000.
He was really drunk, and the other guy was trying to be more reasonable, and he was like, no, man, you don't even know what you're saying right now. You're drunk. You need to lay down. Just lay down. And this went back and forth for like probably a good 10 or 15 minutes. I got woken up by it, and they were being very loud, just like stumbling around the kitchen, trying to like talk each other in and out of going back to the casinos. And eventually he comes and he lays the guy down, the really drunk one who wants to go back. He like lays him down on the couch right next to the couch that I'm on. And he realizes I'm awake, and he's like, sorry, man, he's really drunk. And I was like, oh, that's fine. Like, they're obviously better friends. I didn't know them as well. They knew Clint through when Clint was in college. So I kind of got to know them during the weekend, but I didn't know them as well. And he was like, oh, yeah, he slept on your couch last night, so I'm just going to throw him on this couch or whatever. And I was like, all right, cool. And then that guy, the more reasonable one, goes upstairs and falls asleep. So it's me and this completely unreasonably drunk person on the couch next to me, and he starts moaning. And it just that's
never good. Was it like a painful moan, or was it a sensual moan? Like
an uncomfortable, like I am way too drunk type of moan. Not a I want to bang you moan. It was like a and at one point I don't know if he said I have to throw up or just like it was implied, but he tries to get up off the couch to make his way to the bathroom and immediately falls over on the ground in front of me. And I'm just like, all right, I guess this guy's my responsibility now. I was asleep, but okay. Like, I'm babysitting this guy now. So I help him get to the bathroom. I hear him just like wrenching, like probably one of the loudest vomiters I've heard in a while. Just doing his thing, throwing up, whatever. He comes out of the bathroom and it takes 2 steps out of the bathroom, and I hear him stumble into the wall, like so there's the couches, kitchen here, bathroom like on the other side, like a hallway next to the kitchen. He walks out of the bathroom, takes 2 steps, stumbles into the wall by the kitchen, and knocks over a sled that was leaning against the wall that we had used earlier that day. Like, falls on top of the sled. So I have to go.
Slides.
I have to go.
back to the-
I have to go pick him up and get him back on the couch. Fine, whatever. 20 minutes later, he gets up, takes 2 steps, falls over again. This time he lands on top of. They had one of those giant wood Jenga sets, you know, the ones that are made out of like 2x4s. We had one in the living room because we were playing it while we were like have the TV on. Like some people were playing Mario Kart and some of us were doing like the giant Jenga. He falls on the Jenga set, knocks it over super loud, like makes a ton of noise. I help him to the bathroom again. He comes out of the bathroom again, and this time he stumbles across the room and lays right on top of me. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? And then I remembered the guy told me, oh yeah, he slept on that couch last night. So he was probably so drunk that he's like, oh, this is my bed, because that's where he slept the night before.
Mm-hmm. He's not thinking right, Jimmy. He's drunk out of his mind. Give him a break.
It was, I was like, and I had to leave fairly early in the morning. I was not real keen on taking care of this guy all night. So I literally get out of the couch and just let him have it. I relinquished my couch and let him sleep on that couch. And did I use protection? He tripped, slipped, landed on my dick. No, so I went down the hall to where my friend Brian was sleeping, because he was on a king size bed by himself, and he had previously in the day said, hey, you know, if you want to just like take half of this bed, like I'm used to sleeping on the corner. So I end up going in there, and I kind of woke him up. He was like, what's up with that guy? And I was like, he's fucking wasted. And so before I left, I made sure that guy wasn't sleeping on his back, because anyone who knows, like, if you get too drunk and you like vomit in your sleep, you can like choke to death and die. You could suffocate yourself if you fall asleep on your back and you black out. So I made sure he was on his side. I went in the bedroom and I laid on the other half of the king size bed next to my buddy Brian. And we both just laid there and like for the next hour had to listen to this guy moan. Just oh god, I don't feel good. I heard him stumble to the bathroom like 3 or 4 times, and I was like, no, I'm not helping this guy. He's got to figure it out. And that was my night. And then I had to wake up like 4 hours later and drive back home. So that was I could have done without that part of the trip, and it made me really think about alcohol. I was like, have I ever been this bad? Moment.
But it's the aftermath that gets you.
It was the moment of self-reflection where I was like, God, have I ever been this bad? I can honestly say I don't think I have. But it was gnarly. I was legit. There was a couple times where I was legitimately concerned about the guy, but I think he pulled through. I think he was fine. So yeah, I went and wasted some money and had fun with some friends and took care of a drunk man. That was
sounds like a solid weekend.
Yeah, pretty much. But now I'm trying to getting a call from one of my other best friends right now. We'll answer that later. Anyway, what about you? What'd you do this weekend?
Nothing.
As
always.
Did you study?
My weekend is pretty much like my me time, because the way I like divvy out my workload is Monday I don't have any classes. So Monday I take a look at all the homework for the week and get it all done that day. This week I'm a bit off because I had a paper that I have to do. I had a paper due at 5 p.m. Monday, which I scheduled the day right after spring break. It was about noon. I emailed my professor. I'm like, Professor, I must admit, my hubris was too great. I should not have scheduled this paper for Monday. Can I get it moved back to the next date? And she told me, because you asked first, I'll let you, but don't let anyone else know that I gave this to you. So I thanked her, and now I have that paper due Friday. I still haven't worked on it. I have the idea though. The reason I was panicking was because it's a policy brief. So one, I have to make up a policy that will influence people in America to be happier. And I had no idea what to do with that. And then I got to find sources for that idea. So I had no idea what this paper was going to be about.
Fleshlights for all, dude. Problem solved.
See, but I need research to back it up. I got to like find some claims. Do sex toys increase the average happiness in a nation? And then I got to like relate it to Costa Rica and then present it in class.
I mean, who don't want a nut, right?
That's true. You just reminded me. Okay, there was a commercial I saw the other day, like 2 days ago. It shows a spaceship, you know, flying through space, and he meets this space shuttle with a very sensual AI voice. And his spaceship is the SS Erectus, and is shaped as you probably guess as a dick. And he's like, "Ooh, I need to dock and let loose my massive load of this cargo." And then I'm like, what is this commercial? What are they advertising? By the time it's the end, it's actually a commercial for this $300 sex device. That's like, you basically, it's like a piston that has like controls on it. It's like, oh, there's 3 different modes: the base, the shaft, the head, the speed. It's like, you just put it in. And then the thing that made me lose my mind was, and then for hands-free viewing, a phone clip at the top to clip your phone in so you can watch videos as you go.
Yeah, you gotta. I mean, you need the visual aspect of it. At least the men do.
See, but the thing is, this device, it was like $300, and it's like 2.5 feet tall. Like, it looks like a giant black vase. So it's like, it's not even like a one that you can hide.
No, that's a commitment.
Yeah, that's a commitment that you're buying this to like display proudly on your wardrobe. Like, oh, what is that? Like, oh, that's just my sex device right over there. You want to see it? It has 3 speed functions, different modes for different types of pleasure.
See, if they're smart, they would market it like the Fleshlight and just be like, it looks like a vase. Like it's the flesh
just
vase.
Put a flower in it.
Yeah, exactly. It's decorative. If you made it like multiple colors and you just had it in the corner of the room, you unplug whatever attachments and it's just a vase. No one would ever
put a little cover on it so you don't see the buttons.
Yeah,
different modes.
No, you turn the buttons are on one side. You just turn it around. You put the button. The buttons just face the wall. No one would ever know, right?
Mm-hmm. But better yet, you know, it has electronics in it, so you just, with it comes a light bulb that you plug in. It's USB to the device, and it comes with a lampshade.
There you go.
Put it in the corner of your room. Now it's just a lamp. I'm like, oh, where'd you get that? Oh, you know, just at a flea market. It's like an art piece.
That actually goes well with Fleshlight, Fleshlamp. It's like the upgrade. It's like, you've been using the Fleshlight for years. Now take it to the next level with the Fleshlight. Or Fleshlamp. Yeah.
You butchered that delivery, Jerry.
I know, I ruined it. I'm sorry. I take it back. Oh, we'll edit that. I'll do it in post. Don't worry about it.
Gotcha.
I like Meshyf's comment. He said, James, I want to read a paper about airdropping butt plugs into Costa Rica. You legitimately, I bet she would like respect your gusto if you actually like did it and followed through with it. Plus, she gave you an extension, which implies that she thinks you're a fine piece of ass and she wants to have her way with you. So you should probably follow up on that. It's college. You know, that's how it works. You know that, right?
No, I'm just on good terms with her.
No, you're on good terms with her. You're a handsome young man with a deep voice. Come on.
Not those good at terms. No, I had her for freshman year, so like I already like knew her, and she like knew my work style and ethic.
Oh, she knows you. What's up? Trying to get an A or what, James?
I'm trying. Asking for the extension was the first step. I was gauging the waters.
Yeah, there you go. Be like, I'll show you an extension.
You've redeemed yourself for the earlier misdelivery.
Yes. I'm telling you, man. She's not giving everyone extensions. Tit for tat, dude. So Dan, we're gonna dive in. Usually we don't do this, but your question intrigues me. I think I want to dive into it. Since it's just me and James, we don't have a guest today. We get to have a little fun and nerd out. Dan asks, faithful viewer Dan, Mr. FFA, Mr. Man who I have let down time and time again. I'm sorry, Dan. I wish I had more free time. He says, important life question. Girl that's interested in me, never dated, and has a boyfriend right now, just asked me to her grad party. And it's like a 3-hour trip to get there. Go or nah? So first of all, let me establish some things. Grad party. What do you mean? Like, I don't
kind of graduation.
I don't know how old you are. So grad party can mean a lot of things. Let's establish that first. Grad party from college, like a graduation end of the year party?
Like bachelor's degree?
Like
or
undergrad or
education?
graduate school? Like how old are we talking here?
Mm-hmm.
Bachelor's.
Bachelor's.
Okay.
All right. So it sounds like Dan is a younger fellow.
She has a boyfriend. How long has she had said boyfriend? Do you know? We got to get the details. We got to know. We need the less than a year.
Less than a year.
Has she implied to you that they are exclusive? How do you know she has a boyfriend? Has she said, I have a boyfriend? Have you seen this man? Have you seen them together? Because a lot of girls say, I have a boyfriend, but that's just to like keep other dudes away. So is there actual evidence of a boyfriend?
Have they done, and dare I say it, held hands? Quite the lewd comment, but you have to confirm these things.
We need to establish how boyfriend is this boyfriend, which A, does he exist? B, she told me I haven't hanged with her since high school. So she told you she has a boyfriend. That
you haven't hung out with her since high school yet. She thought about him to invite to the party.
So she may have told you she had a boyfriend because she just she wasn't interested at the time. So as far as you're concerned, you don't even know if this guy's real or not, right? So you can just plead the fifth. I mean, have you asked her if she still has said boyfriend? When she invited you, what was your response? Did you bring it up? Did you say, I thought you had a boyfriend? Like, because you can do that jokingly, right? Like, you could just be like, wait a minute. What's this about? Why isn't your boyfriend taking you? Like, how did that conversation go? Because that's gonna kind of gauge. You gotta do some soft inquiries to gauge how serious this whole situation is. That would be my first play. But at the end of the day, if she asked you and she wants to go with you and you like her, why not? But don't expect anything. All I would say is have fun. Just let it be what it is. If she wants to go, you can just live in the moment, have fun in the moment. Don't expect anything more. But it could go somewhere, but I don't expect it. It could just be her, like maybe she just broke up. Maybe the boyfriend's not real. Maybe, they're on rough waters. Why not just go have a good time, get to know her, take advantage of this moment in time. Don't expect anything. Just have fun. But before that, I would kind of maybe jokingly gauge the status of said boyfriend, because I believe in monogamy. I believe in honesty. I wouldn't encourage you to like intentionally break up their relationship or anything, but I would at least flippantly or jokingly be like, why ain't your man taking you? Where's your boy at? Just to get an idea. But if she's like, don't worry about it, then don't worry about it. It's not your problem.
Like, especially if you haven't hung out with her since high school. It's been 4 years, and she thought of you enough to invite you for the party, even if it's not for romantic intention. Maybe she just wants to, catch up with you, see like how you're doing, rekindle that relationship. If it's a party, so it's like there'll be other girls there.
Yeah, if nothing else, maybe she'll be a homie and wingman you, right? Like maybe, if you I like what Meshyf said. That's kind of where I was going. If you just go with no expectations, or just like, hey, we're homies, right? The best luck I've ever had with girls is when I treated them like my best friend. Like when you just go with no expectation other than like just look at her and think of like Just think of her as, like, in my case, my friend Andrew is my best friend. When I treat other people, when I treat other girls like my best friend Andrew, that's when things tend to go the best anyway. Just don't expect anything. Just go and have fun. Be like, yeah, I'll go. Like, you can even make a joke. Be like, yeah, I'll go, but you gonna help me find a girl to hook up with? Like, you like play that card. Just be like, yeah, you're gonna be my wing girl. Like, you can kind of play it to your advantage where you go with zero expectations except just having fun, right? And then wherever it goes, she'll be like, wait, wing girl, I thought I asked him because I wanted, like, that'll make her kind of have to, you flip it back on her, right? So there's definitely fun ways you could play it, but I would at least like prod a little bit about the boyfriend, but just once, just like in a joking way. You know, just be like, what's up? Like, why wouldn't you go with your man? I thought your man would be taking you. And, you know, let her make that final decision of like, no, he's not taking me, or no, we're not together, or, well, we're not really that serious, or, you know, at least get an eye, like, because you don't want to go in there and be the asshole, right? Like,
especially it's a 3-hour trip. You're not
right.
exactly going to be getting out of there really fast.
Right, exactly. So the last thing you want to do is take her to fucking grad night dance and her boyfriend shows up and calls you outside or some shit. Like, you know, you gotta at least not play it somewhat safe. Don't be the asshole in this situation. But yeah, I say just like tell her, yeah, let's have fun. Just like treat her like a bro. Let her let her do her thing. You do your thing. And have a good night. I think that'd be what I would probably do. I think that'd be fun. Especially you know, you could imply that since you're her date that she has to pay for everything too. You could just have fun with her and just mess with her.
It's like, you know, I had to drive out here 3 hours. Least you can do is reimburse me with some gas.
Be like, or you could be like, you gonna be my sugar mama? Say yeah, I'll drive 3 hours up there. You gonna buy me dinner? You gonna be my sugar mama? You know, or at least go Dutch. Like, you know, unless she implies more, you got to play it cool until she implies more. You're just like, okay, we're friends, cool, yeah. We gonna go Dutch? You gonna be my sugar mama? You gonna be my wing girl? And then see how she replies to that. If she's like, wait, what? No, I want you to be my date. Then you're like, cool, we good. But you kind of got to gauge that conversation and have fun with it. That's what I would do.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully that helps. I don't know if that helps at all, but
I think we cover that as broadly as humanly possible. So if anything, he can like pick and choose what advice he needs, what advice he wants.
Yeah. Maybe we need to have this. Maybe this is a new part of the show. We probably have to submit them ahead of time though. We did that on the fly, but that could be dangerous. Oh, wait, never mind. I thought I had an important message. It wasn't important. I don't know. All right. So, James.
So, Jimmy.
Give me your honest assessment of the Apex Legends Battle Pass.
Ooh, it's hot garbage.
Really? That bad, huh? Like not pulling any punches.
It just I understand where they're coming from, right? They said season 1 Battle Pass coming in March. The first week of March came by, subreddits blowing up. Where is it? You told us March. And I'm like, no, guys, it's only the first week. Don't worry about it. Mid-March comes. People are like, where is it? It's mid-March. Comes like a few days later. People just want the Battle Pass in their hands. But they're also like new into this space. And it's not like Fortnite's Battle Pass and their cosmetics is so much easier to deal with because all your cosmetic stuff is applied solely to your own character and you have full control over it all the time. But when it comes to Apex, all the skins and cool stuff you get, you could like
it's
unlock the coolest skin you want, like for the new character Octane, and then not get to play Octane for a few games because someone else chose him first. So it's like they really got to like figure out how they're gonna do their cosmetic system, because they only have character skins and weapon skins. That's about it.
Yeah.
And then they have a ton, and when I say a ton of trackers that really they're not doing it for me.
Yeah, I mean, trackers are not very appealing because usually once you pick the tracker that you want, that's the one that you're probably just going to stay with, right?
Like, there's no other reason to swap it.
Right, because everyone's going to have that specific, whether it's damage done or bamboozles or whatever. Like,
yeah, because right now, like the must pick one everyone gets is just kills on that character because they want to show off how many kills they have.
Right. Yeah, I could see that. At least kills. I mean, there might be people who want to like play with that and rotate them, but it's not something, and it's something you really only see it like the one time, right? When you see it for your team, and then you see it for whoever the champion was from the previous game. So it's not something that you carry with you as you run around the map.
Yes.
So I can see that argument.
And then just right now, like their skins aren't really like that great.
A lot of them are just like recolors or slight variations.
Yeah, that's why. So it's like, oh, like I got this supreme skin, but it's just a recolor of the base one. Like the legendary ones do have like some full like model changes, but then it's like one full model change and then a bunch of recolors. So it's not really like something I want to like work for and get. But I do like the battle pass just because I like filling up bars of progress,
right?
And getting stuff. Because for $10, you do get like. Remember, you linked a guy did the math, so it's like 950 Apex coins to buy it, but then the stuff in it is worth like 7,000 Apex coins.
Yeah.
So it's kind of worth it. Like it's definitely has a value, but to me, the stuff in it isn't really worth much to me apart from the loot boxes.
Yeah. That makes sense. So like compared to everyone like naturally wants to compare it to Fortnite, but let's compare it to another game that we're familiar with that me and you and members of our community play. Let's compare it to Minion Masters. Value wise, how do you think it compares?
Pretty similar, just because the last one they had only had like 2 skins, and the focus on the Minion Masters Battle Pass is just giving you more tokens so you can get more cards and then play with more content. Whereas more in Apex, it's like, here's more loot boxes that you can get for more random rolls. Because even though I hate to say it, I still really enjoy opening loot boxes. It's like, oh, what am I gonna get? It triggers that dopamine response, like, oh, is it gonna be legendary? Because I've seen people, and it makes me jealous every time when they post images of getting the loot box with the 3 like above legendary. It's like the mythic tier, like the orange stuff, but the melee weapons. It's like, oh, I want that.
Yeah,
it's like the tiniest % chance.
Yeah,
so it's like every loot box I get inches me closer and closer to getting that.
Did you see that in the regions that have outlawed loot boxes, they actually get crafting materials?
Yeah, I did.
And you can
it's like Belgium specifically, yeah.
Well, and you can change your region. Did you see that? Someone in the comments was like, yeah, you can just change your region to like Belgium or wherever it is and just restart Origin and restart the game, and now you get crafting materials instead of loot boxes. So that's something they're probably gonna need to I don't know how that's
region locking, or like put a timer on it, like, oh well, you changed your region to Belgium for a reason, so we're gonna lock you there for a week.
Well, what I think doesn't I think League of Legends, it costs in-game currency to change your region, doesn't it?
I don't think it's influence points, but I'm pretty sure it's riot points. So
so real world money. So you have to like pay dollar bills to change your region.
I think it's like $5-10, so not too expensive. It's not like World of Warcraft where if you want to swap servers, it's like $40.
Yeah, no, but they'll probably end up they'd be dumb to, because excuse me, I don't think that was an intended side effect. I don't think they want people changing regions just so they can farm either, because
Mhm.
it worked the other way too. People that it's supposed to be outlawed, right? Like people who are in Belgium who are supposed to not be able to get loot boxes, they could change their region to like US and get loot boxes.
Mhm.
So they're
The breaking the law.
yeah, well, yeah, they could get in trouble for that. So I'd imagine they'll probably either region lock it or make it like really expensive to like change regions or something. They have to have a way to prevent that.
Oof. Oof. Like the firmest way I can see them doing it is like when you change your region, it just resets all your progress.
Ooh.
That would hurt. That'd
Well,
be the largest deterrent.
yeah, don't some games do that. I feel like some games all of your loot and cosmetics and all of that stuff are tied to your region. So like when
Mhm.
you switch regions, you essentially have a different account. I'm trying to think.
I know Hearthstone does that, but that's a card game. I don't know many others.
I know there are games that do that, which maybe that's what they would do. You know, if you change regions, like you start from level 1 and you have no cosmetics. So you have basically you have a new account for each region.
Yeah, so you have like your American account, then you have your EU account, your
Right.
Oceania account, and they're all like separately and distinct.
Right.
Oh, I know. I think Path of Exile does that. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, I know there are games that do that, and that would kind of make sense, right? Because if you're trying to, especially for, I would say if it does end up adding like competitive stuff to the game and whatnot, it would kind of make sense to have it separated that way by region,
Hmm.
because some regions may naturally be, as like skill wise, you could grind up in like some other region and then just switch over and be a high rank. Like it would make
Hmm.
sense, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think actually something in League of Legends occurred earlier when they were doing like the weird like provisional ranking thing where people in like EU were swapping to NA and then grinding for points because they were abusing the system and then swapping back.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Stuff like that. There's got the I think just having a different account for each region would solve a lot of those little issues, I think.
Hmm.
Um what about the rest of the content? What do you think about they added a new character, and
They added Octane.
there's the launch pads or whatever now.
Yeah, that's Octane's ability.
Oh, is it his ability? Cuz
Mhm.
I thought they just added it to the map too, didn't they? Or was that just kind of a
I
teaser
think that was
for
just like a
Octane?
teaser for it because the launch pads were like around some locations. So I know Market was one of them. But yeah, that's his ultimate. And man, his character's hilarious. I
No,
love his
yeah,
character.
I was gonna, I have the Reddit post up. I have the video. I wanted to play it. I was gonna switch to the media view because I haven't. Unfortunately, last night I had like a business conference to go to, so I haven't even played Apex since the.
I don't have enough currency to buy him. I had to watch my friends play him. And I'm like,
Yeah,
he looks so fun. I want to play him.
I haven't had a chance to play since they started season 1 and patched and added all the new stuff. But I saw this post on Reddit and I thought it was hilarious because someone said whoever came up with the idea to have Octane run like that deserves a raise. And it's just a video of Octane running, basically. I'm gonna make
Hmm.
it full screen because it's pretty damn funny. So you'll see Octane, he jumps down from the right side over here. So just like pay attention to how he runs. It's so great.
He just throws his arms up like all the way.
Like yeah, just like totally cartoon. He's got his gun in his hand, just like swinging it up in the air. And then the other thing that I like about it that makes it even more animated is the way that he leans.
Oh yeah, he really leans into
He
those
like
turns.
leans into his turns. It's really fun to watch.
Hmm.
I could just like sit here and watch this. I don't know. The animation is really cool. And then someone else was pointing out some other fun animations I didn't even know about, like Mirage, or I think it's Mirage. Like when Mirage is walking while he aims, he like does a dance. I don't know. Some people were pointing out all these little like really fun mannerisms and animations that they put in the game that like give it
Hmm.
that little bit of extra character.
Yeah, because well, it's Apex Legends, so I guess they're legends. But they say champions, so I'll just call them champions. All the champions really have like little quirks to them that makes it feel like they have so much character and they're
Yeah.
so fleshed out.
Yeah, like the dialogue and everything. I don't know.
Hmm.
There's so much charm in the game. And I think I'm gonna go out on a limb here and I'm gonna say that it's okay that the battle pass isn't that good. I know that everyone's super excited about it and whatnot, and everyone's feeling a little disappointed, but it's literally the first battle pass that they've ever done. I don't, because the studio that's making the game, in most of their previous games, they didn't have battle passes, right? Because it's the same.
Nope, it was just $40 to
Yeah,
have the content.
like Titanfall, right? Like it's the
Yeah,
same.
Titanfall 2.
Yeah, so like they're treading on completely new ground. And I know you could say, yeah, but they should learn from those who went before them, which I agree with. There's they
Like
did,
Fortnite.
yeah, they should look at Fortnite and say, okay, what works and what doesn't. But it's not the same game. They do
That's the
have
biggest thing.
they do have different characters with different, stats and abilities and all this stuff. And so they're gonna have to work out how that needs to balance out. And they could make it progressive seasons, right? Like it's season one, so a lot of people still haven't unlocked a lot of those stat trackers. So maybe they're thinking, hey, season one will make it really easy for people to unlock a buttload of stat trackers.
If
And
only that were the case.
and then in the next season, there will be less of those. And by then they'll have, hopefully, with all the money they make from season one, they can hire a few design people to make some better skins. And maybe there will be more skins in season two. Like it's money. Money needs to happen. Like they have to make money to hire people to make better content, right? Like
Mhm.
design team and programming team are two completely separate things. And when you start talking about skins, you need a whole different set of skills to design that stuff. So, like if you look at League of Legends, if you look at character design and skins from like season 2 compared to how they look now,
They were pretty much all recolors
they were
those
recolors and
days.
maybe like a few unique ones that cost more money, but like a lot of that
They
stuff was
like,
garbage. Like it
and it
wasn't.
was an event too. Like they're like, oh, this is Pulsefire Ezreal,
Yeah.
$20. He has an evolving skin that changes as the game goes. Now it's like all the skins are kind of at that level, and then like the real expensive ones, they also have like changing effects as well.
Right. That's what I'm saying is people have very selective memories. Like if you look at most games early on, the content that they were making and charging money for, I remember the early Path of Exile shit, and some of it was just bad. Like the bleeding sword looked just like the bat sword. Like the fidelity and the quality of a lot of those skins was not very good, but they were just doing the best with the resources they had. But look at League of Legends now, just the promotional CGI movies that they come out with, like full on music videos, full on like seasonal, like the videos they make are worlds ahead of. I remember the old, like the original promotional video for, go back and watch it on like
Hmm.
the original.
Old Rise with this massive scroll.
Yeah, like Rise looked fucking R-worded. Like we're like he looked like the game looked like trash compared to what it does now. So like I have to remember that and I have to keep that in mind. Yes, I
Mhm.
said R-worded. Go listen
Yeah,
to.
especially since so many people were complaining about every bug. And yes, the bugs like were something that need to get fixed. But since they're trying to hammer out all those issues, that means less time thinking about like, oh, what are we doing for cosmetics? That's more of an afterthought after you fix all of that.
Yeah, and then and yet no one wants to remember when you used to be able to buy 6 Sunfire capes in League of Legends. Like You
It's
know,
stacked. It was so good.
but I'm just saying,
It
like,
was 6 Sunfire caves on Evelyn, who at the time could be invisible all the time.
right. So you can literally just stand next to the enemy team and kill them. Like, they gotta go through, they gotta get their digs in. They have to go through the learning process. It's a brand new game. They've never done a battle pass before. Like, give them a little time, and just like, if you like the game, throw some money at the battle pass because you want to support the developers. Don't buy it because you think the content's amazing. I mean, yeah, you're gonna get some shit from it. Cool. You'll get some skins and some stat trackers and some coins and some crafting materials. And it costs you $9 or $10, $9.50 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And
So the lowest you can buy is 10.
just give them some time. If you don't like what's in it, don't buy it and just wait till the next season. I guarantee you it's going to get better. As long as they continue to have an audience and continue to make a little money, like, it'll get better.
Mm-hmm. Although something I wish, or at least I hope they're looking at, unless you're min-maxing how much XP you're earning from the battle pass, apparently for some people it takes a long time. But from my personal experience, I haven't had any issue with that. So I'm unsure, like, if it's actually a problem or if it isn't.
What,
You know
the
what I'm
amount of
saying?
time it takes to like grind the levels?
Yeah, so it's like level 1 to 100. And when I was playing, I was playing with Via and his friend, and it's like, oh, after an hour, almost level 2. And I was like, all right, that's a reasonable pace. And then I see people on the subreddit going like, I've been playing for 8 hours and I didn't even get like 1 level. And I was like, that doesn't, are you just bad at the game?
I was gonna say it's because they're bad.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I got carried pretty much like those games, and that was only an hour and almost level 2. So it's like, I don't understand like where this disparity is coming from.
Yeah,
Especially when most of the points you get are just for surviving.
right. Yeah, you get a lot of points just for surviving for a while. You could just like drop and hide for half of the map and get a decent amount of points.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was gonna ask you, because I haven't had a chance to play. You're kind of like my sounding board. I'm gonna ask you questions. Do you know if are there any type of bonus incentives? I know you get bonus points for playing with friends, right? For playing in a squad.
Not at the start.
Oh, in the battle pass, no.
Mm-hmm. In the battle pass, it's like Fortnite, where at tiers you get a 5% like XP bonus. So it's like, I think at like tier 5 or something, you unlock a 5%. So if you play with friends, then they get 5% as well.
Oh,
But if
okay.
those two friends also have it, then it stacks. So now everyone's getting 15.
See, that could be why maybe they weren't playing in a group, so they weren't getting
Mm-hmm.
like those bonuses.
And then
Now, is
there's
there
this.
anything like the treasure chests
Oh
in?
no,
You know
there's no
how
challenges.
that's what I well that and they said not they said they don't have challenges yet. They said
Mm-hmm.
that they wanted to focus on people just getting better at the game, so it's just a straight up battle pass. But they're not opposed to doing something like that in the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember they said specifically like, we don't want to put in like, oh, go to a watchtower and like jump off and kill two
No, I'm
people.
not talking about those challenges. I'm talking about the chests in Minion Masters that are purely based on winning.
Mm.
You know, where you can win, like you win 3 games and you get like a bunch of bonus XP.
Mm-hmm.
Is there's nothing like that yet?
No, it's purely just like play around, get points. So, and then it's just based on like, I think you get points directly from whatever XP you earn from the match. So whatever that match XP is, you get points for that. You get the bonus from playing with friends, and you get a bonus if you haven't maxed out a legend, because there's a cap apparently, like on each legend.
Oh yeah, they said they wanted to encourage you to play different characters.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you rotate through the characters, you get a bonus for not like capping one out.
Mm-hmm. So you don't lose anything, but there is a bonus for playing other legends.
Right, exactly. And that could be another reason why someone in the subreddit would be like, "Oh, I'm progressing so slow." Like if they're only
Mm-hmm.
playing Bangalore all the time or something.
Yeah, they're missing out. Because someone did say it's like, well, like if you don't like Caustic and Gibraltar, then just don't play those two, but play the other like 5.
Right. Yeah, which I kind of appreciate. Like they want you to rotate through the characters and get to know them. Because the same argument that I make about League of Legends, like being good at League of Legends is not only being good with the characters, but being good against other characters. A big part of that game is just learning everyone's stuff. Like, oh, I know how far away I need to stand so Rise can't stun me, right? Like, I know the range of his attacks. Like, you subconsciously start to learn all of that stuff, and instinctively, you just kind of know, like, where to be or how far away to be or what the cooldowns are. But that comes with playing all those characters enough to know all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the same could be said for, Apex. The more you play as those characters, you'll know what their abilities are, the range of those abilities, the cooldowns of those abilities, so you can kind of like be better against other players. So I think it's a good thing. I think it'll change. It'll increase game IQ or EQ or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm. I can agree with that.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't think it deserves all the hate it's getting. Yeah, the skins aren't great, and yeah, it might be a little grindy, but you know what? It's a free game. So if you don't want it, don't pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's really what it comes down to. If you want to support the devs, cool. If not, just play the game and have fun.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. Because I know for a lot of people that have already hit like the level cap, they're like, oh, nice. It's another like form of progression because I already hit the cap.
Right. Yeah, no, for me that's mostly what it is like you said, I like to see a bar move.
Mm-hmm.
And as a software developer myself, a big part of my motivation for it is just having a way to uh, support the game. Because the store, I didn't really, the prices and the stuff that you could buy straight out with money didn't really appeal to me. So
Yeah, the store itself is pretty bad. It's like $20.
yeah, so I was waiting for the battle pass more as a way to, hey, cool, it's something I can progress and it's a way I can support the devs. Um, I don't know. I think it's good overall. They got to make money,
Mm-hmm. And the
and
base game still solid,
yeah,
still a
absolutely
great game. And then the first ban wave came as well.
true. Yeah, I heard there was some good band hammering happening. I've seen
Mm-hmm.
some of the videos of the hacks, and I personally haven't experienced any hackers yet, but
Mm-hmm.
that would frustrate the shit out of me. I could. It's good that they're cracking down on that.
Yeah, because when you're looking at those videos and reading the subreddit, it makes it sound like there's hackers in every game. But then from like when I'm playing, it's like I don't really see any of this. So it's like how big of an issue was it? Unless except for the cases where they were very explicitly hacking, like doing the speed hack and just like flying around and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. There's someone in that same thread about the new guy's funny running.
Hmm.
They were saying that someone was playing as him with the name Run Forest, and they were hacking with like speed hacks. And he's like I wanted to be mad, but all I could do was laugh because he was just like running full speed around the map with that ridiculous animation, clearly speed hacking. So it was like a meme account. But I thought that was pretty funny.
Hmm. And Octane, he's really good.
Octane, yeah. I spaced his name for a second. So, what are his abilities? After this, I swear we'll move on from Apex. We won't talk about Apex all night. But
Mm.
I don't even know what his kit is or anything.
So, like I said earlier, his ultimate ability is that little jump pad. He can throw it around anywhere, and then it's just a jump pad. You walk on it, you jump into it, and it just launches you in a direction.
Do you launch high enough to go back into like hover floaty
Oh no,
mode?
not nearly that
No, it's
high.
just like a massive jump then.
Yes, and then anyone can use it. And then it
Okay.
also breaks as like 200 health, so enemies can break it.
Oh, so
Is
you can shoot it and blow it up?
mhm. I think I don't think allies can, but I think Octane might be able to, and I know enemies for sure.
Okay.
And then his active ability is he sacrifices some amount of health, I'm not sure how much, and he gets a speed boost
Yeah.
for like 6 seconds. Or is it 5 seconds and a 6 second cooldown? One of those. And his passive is when he's not taking any damage, he regenerates 1 health every 2 seconds.
Oh.
So that's what makes him really good. Because you don't really need meds when you're just like going from area to area or
Yeah,
skirmish to
when
skirmish.
right, exactly. After you just finished like a big battle and you're just like looting and moving to the next area, you just passively heal.
That's what made Lifeline like such a like must have in like every squad, just because the ability to have a free med kit every minute is just that strong.
Right.
So a character that can heal itself is pretty good.
No, that's pretty solid. So now that makes sense, that the whole speed boost thing, because a lot of people were talking about how he basically is a loot thief, like to the max,
Oh yeah,
because he can
it's
just
all,
outrun everyone. So be like, cool, I
yeah, he
found a
can.
gun, and he just like runs past and steals it.
hmm It's pretty fast because Bangalore has the movement speed passive as well, but only when she gets shot at.
Right.
So Octane can have it up pretty much whenever he wants, and it makes him fast.
Yeah.
He'll just get behind you. You don't even notice.
Yeah, you can hop plop and just like like beat people to the weapons because you can run so fast.
hmm
Interesting.
Makes me wonder what the next legends are gonna be, because his kit was kind of leaked. There was like speculation, like, oh well, he's gonna heal, but like the leak was like, oh, he's gonna heal like so much health, it's gonna be insane. But then some of the other stuff they got all right. Like they said, oh, he's gonna have like some kind of jump ability and a speed boost ability and stuff like that. So it makes me wonder, like, okay, how much of the other leaks were true? Because other than the names, it's really all we got.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting. It looks like they have a lot more legends planned too. Like the list of names, there was a list of names that was leaked. I don't know how real it is or whatever, but there was like 8 names.
hmm
And they said not to pay too much attention to that because a lot of those are just ideas of characters that will probably never get released. But the fact that they were
But
even,
Octane came out.
well, yeah, the fact that they're even considering that many, like that's, I don't know, that's really interesting.
And even if they don't use like that character specifically, like
Right.
some of the ideas they have attached to them are probably going to be seen like in a different person.
Yeah, well, and I wonder if they're intending a model similar to because there's like Overwatch, right, where characters come out but not that frequently, but then you've got like League of Legends where they have a specific release cycle for heroes or champions or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, I think they're at like 2 or 3 a year.
Yeah. So
Because I remember back in the early days, they're like, we're gonna pump one out like every 2 weeks.
I
And
wonder
then
how
boom.
aggressive they'll be like with releasing new characters.
Like, is it gonna be one like only on a new season? Maybe 2 a season? Are they gonna put it in the battle pass? Like, really don't know.
Yeah. Maybe every season. Yeah, maybe they'll just have a new because I mean that would give you incentive to can you unlock Octane in the battle pass or no?
No, you just have to buy them with either money or just the in-game currency you get. So had I been playing more, like overall, I could have just bought them straight out, but I was like short like 2,000. So it's only
Okay.
like 10, 12 games.
Cool. Well, I got to get in and play. I'm excited to play it. I just haven't had time.
Mhm.
The other one that was kind of flew under the radar, I sent you the link and I was pretty excited about it, was Wizard of Legend. They just came out of nowhere and dropped their patch with
Mhm.
there's a whole new boss. There's like here, there's a link here with all the info. There's an official thread now. Let me pull it up. So for those who don't know, Wizard of Legend is like a roguelite, like top down, similar to like a Binding of Isaac type game, except you get to build your kit out of like a combination of spells that you unlock, and then you can also get relics. And relics are similar to the items in Binding of Isaac, where each one is either, a buff or a nerf in some way, and you can combine different ones to have every run is different, and you can stack all of that stuff into unique builds each run. So they added 20 arcana, which are the spells, 20 new signatures, which are like the ultimate abilities, 35 new relics, 3 new outfits, new enemies, a whole new level, like a whole new floor, or like what would you call it? World. I guess a whole new world, which is the wind world, and a new boss at the end of that world. And so now that they have that many bosses, there's a chance that they didn't add to the actual length of the game. And because the bosses are random, every run there will be a boss that you don't face. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So it makes the runs even more unique, which I thought was really exciting. So I'm probably,
because before that, it kind of got a little boring because you were always going to fight the same bosses.
Yeah, and they
just be a bit harder depending on where they spawn.
Yeah, I was going to say depending on what tier they are, because like a tier 1 ice boss doesn't, like the tier 3 ice boss has like 2 extra abilities and they cast their spells faster. So like other than that, they're the same every time. So it'll I agree. It'll be interesting that they're going to be rotated a little bit more, and it'll keep it a little more fresh. And there's an endless mode, which I'm really interested in. I think you just keep it just keeps getting harder and harder. I'm guessing you just rotate through the worlds until you eventually die. I wonder how that'll scale. Because if you get to keep picking up items too, that's tricky because your relics, there's a limit on how many relics you can have. So it's not like in Binding of Isaac, there's no limit. You can literally pick up
everything,
as many items as until you die, right? In this game, your relic box is limited to like 12 or 14. It's 2 rows of I forget how many. So you'll have to be really good at like paying attention to which relics to keep and which ones to drop and which ones synergize with each other. Because if the game continues to scale as you go through endless levels, but you can't continue to pick up more and more relics, that could become a problem real quick. The levels are going to outscale you. So I don't know. Unless they change that. Maybe in endless mode you get to pick up more relics. I haven't played it yet, so I don't know. But I'm excited to play it. I loved that game, and I had a lot of fun with it.
And I feel like kind of patch is kind of what they needed, because I remember when I played it last, I kind of got bored of it just because there was a lot of like different things you could do. Each run was different, but there really wasn't much total difference. Like you always knew, like, okay, I'm always going to be fighting through 3 I'm always going to be fighting through 3 stages. And I know who the bosses are, and I know exactly what they do. And since there's only 3, and then the different permutations for the level, so like 9 in total, it really wasn't like a ton. Mostly all they had was like, oh, play through it until you unlock everything, and that's about it. But more stuff in an endless mode, that's infinite longevity.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. So the last thing I wanted to talk about before we get to some beef, and then we can talk about a few more things after that, we got to get into this whole Stadia thing.
Gaming of the future.
There's a big part of me that hopes that's not true. I mean, they really sold it on some of the key points. And for those who don't know, who are listening, go Google Stadia. Go Google Stadia. Google is coming out with their own gaming platform. It's going to be a purely streaming platform. They said they claim that they have gotten it down to a science, that they've worked out all the kinks, that it is like almost no latency, that you can play games, connect to their data servers and their like monster they worked with AMD to build a custom video card, and they've got a custom CPU. So each person connects to a rack that they can play games from, playing it directly from their server farms, and they're making some pretty big claims.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I honestly like I'm really optimistic that it can be playable, but someone pointed out the number one, obviously the biggest thing that people are going to be skeptical about is internet, right? The
Mm-hmm.
United States, we all know, is extremely inconsistent as far as quality of the connection, rate limits,
Data
data
caps.
caps, prices in general, monopolies. Like,
Basically, if you're in the Midwest, don't expect to use Google Stadia.
yeah, unless Google's gonna, maybe this will be like stage one of them, because they pushed Google Fiber for a while, and they continue to like build their infrastructure, but like I I honestly don't know how they could possibly pull this off without some plan. I mean, unless they found a way to push like insane amounts of data, compressed data through a shitty connection, people are going to experience quality loss and input lag. Like, I don't know how you can't. It's the nature
Like
of the internet.
the last thing I saw was like someone was saying like, well, the input lag is only as much as like a console, but then but then the other ones I were seeing were like, oh no, it gets as high as like a hundred milliseconds one way, so that's 200 milliseconds both ways, and that's really noticeable. So maybe like a single player like story game, like oh, not a big deal, but if you want to do anything multiplayer, not gonna work.
Right. Although they did show off some really cool features. I don't know if you watched the whole thing, but like the
I
virtual.
watched uh I watched all the way up to when Matt Pat showed up. Because then I was like, I really don't care about the YouTube integration stuff. That's not that too important to me.
I mean, the idea, if it's as seamless as they say, the idea of someone watching you stream a game and they can click a button that says play now and you can like join that game in your browser,
Hmm.
that's insane if it works as good as they claim that it will work. Like if I see you playing, Minion Masters, and I can click like play now and join you, and like we can co-op together just by
Hmm.
clicking a button in the browser, and I can play it in the browser and it just starts playing immediately. That's what they claimed.
Hmm. Like the big thing that I was like, oh wow, that's actually phenomenal. Was on like they had the Google like Chromebook. I think it was a Chromebook or one of their laptop notebooks. They had the Chromebook. Then they had did they have a yeah they had a cell phone. Then they had a cheap desktop.
Yeah, they had a bunch of them lined up next to each
Mhm.
other, and he
And it was like,
switched
look
from
at
one to the
everything,
other
like
to the other.
fun. Yeah, and I was like, ooh, that looks phenomenal. Probably not going to work like that in reality, but if it works similarly enough, that's still pretty cool to like seamlessly swap that feed from just basically peripheral to peripheral since it is based on that data server.
Right. Well, and one of the features they showed off, because it's all running from the same like data center, that they showed off the like virtual couch co-op thing,
Hmm.
where like you could have, like you could just pull up your, like if you're playing co-op, you could just pull up the screen of whoever you're playing with. And they said that you could put that, and they could even virtually put that screen on any screen in the game. So like for
Hmm.
example, like say you're playing Fallout, multiplayer Fallout. Don't hate me, I'm sorry. And you want to like see where your friend is, but rather than ask him where he is, you could just pull up your screen and like press a button and you see their view type thing. Like they could basically, because they're in the same data center, they could pipe somebody else's streaming view, their stream, into your game. So there's a lot of creative things you could potentially do with that.
Hmm.
And they also had one other feature, the whole replay feature, where like because it's all being handled by their data center and you're all playing on that data center, I could like pause a game and save a state of where I'm at and just basically share that state with someone else, and they could replay moments that I played. Like we could share, or I could even set up certain challenges. Like I could do a speed run up to a certain point and then save that state and then give it to my audience and be like, all right, let's see who can beat this last section the fastest. You only have 1 heart and 3 bullets left. And everyone could give it their own try, basically taking your state and instantly hitting play now and playing, starting where you left off type of stuff.
Mm-hmm. But then, yeah, Dan in the chat points out a good thing. They did not specify how much this service was going to cost.
Nope, they did not.
And it's like, why are you keeping this from us? How much is it going to... Because if it's competitively priced, and if we say, all right, the cost of a console to a mid-range computer, right? So that's like what, $300 to like $600? So that's a one-time purchase. So if it's like around there, and let's say a console lifespan, we'll use that as a base since you can upgrade a PC, is around like 3 to 4 years, right? So that's 3 to 4 years, $500 average. That's what, $60 a year? If it's like anywhere competitive to that, then most people, I can see people jumping onto that. But if it's like super expensive, like, oh, it's only a $300 like purchase every year, not gonna work. But with how much like tech they've invested into it, I can't see it being like super cheap.
Yeah, I mean, but they already do have massive data centers. And
that's true. They do already have it.
Like the infrastructure's already there, so I don't know if they're going to factor that cost into it. And if they want to be competitive, they're going to have to price it competitively. And Google has never had a problem losing money to try and make something work. Like YouTube still isn't profitable since they bought it. So they're not opposed to the literally, I think you can Google this, I might be wrong, but I think the only 2 things that are profitable for their entire company is search and ads. I'm pretty sure all the other endeavors and all the other products that they have are all feeding into those because they're the only 2 that make them money. YouTube doesn't make them money. Google Docs doesn't make them money. Google World really doesn't make them money. Like they have so many amazing products that they just give out for free because they all lead back to their search and their ads. And so really that's all that, even if it just feeds people back into YouTube, or even if they feed you an ad like in between switching games, or like they'll find ways to like compensate for if it, they may just be willing to lose money on it, at least initially, you know. And someone pointed out that they could use the Amazon model, which you pay for Amazon Prime, which gives you access to Amazon Video, right? And there's a bunch of free content that you can stream from Amazon Video. But like, let's say a brand new movie, like a box office smash comes out, you don't get that for free. You can get it on Amazon Video, but you can pay like $4, like $3 or $4 to rent it, or like $8 to buy it and add it to your like video library, right? So they actually have both models. So they said Google could do that, where you pay for the streaming service and it gives you access to like the bronze tier games that are all free. And then like, when a premium game comes out, you can spend like 10 extra bucks to add that to your library. Or maybe they have just 3 different tiers of games, like AAA titles. You have to pay $50 a month. Whereas if you just want to play indie games, it's like $10 a month. There's lots of different ways they can structure it price wise, but you have to remember that they're competing for your time with everything else. They're competing with Hulu and Netflix and, Twitch and all these other services that are either very inexpensive or free. So they're going to have to make it at least somewhat competitive in order for people to invest time in it.
And it makes me wonder, because you brought up indie games, like how you're going to be developing on their service, because that is how they're marketing it, as a platform, as a service. So they're just providing the platform for all this stuff. And then they did partner, because I think they did say like Doom Eternal was going to run on it. Yeah, it is, because I was joking about it earlier. So they got the team, they got id, but then how's it going to look for all these other companies that aren't as big? How much is it going to cost them to develop on this platform and make stuff for it? Because other than Doom Eternal, I don't think they have like another like full title that's like going to help sell this. Because at
Well,
the show floor, they did have a lot of like tech demos and stuff, but nothing like concrete.
that you know of, because a lot of other
Exactly.
studios, they had 2 or 3 other studios that came out and said we're already developing games on this, and I would not be surprised if there's a whole lot more that they have NDAs on. There's they could come out. They said it's coming out this year. I wouldn't put it past Google to drop it and just be like, oh, and there's 20 games for it already. Like, they probably have NDAs, because like the one guy was like, yeah, we're already developing a game. He was talking about that replay feature. He's like, we're designing a game right now specifically built around that feature. I can't say anything yet. So like, I guarantee you that Google's not dumb. I'm sure they reached out to a bunch of developers and were like, hey, we want you to develop on this platform, but sign this fat NDA until it comes out, you know?
So that tells me I'm going to have to head down to Irvine, where my friend has Google Fiber, and then use her gigabit connection to try out Google Stadia.
I mean, I might have decent luck with it. I have a pretty solid connection. But then it also makes me wonder, it's going to give them an interesting niche, because a lot what you don't think about is you need upload and download speed for this to work, right? So that's gonna cut into your probably not that much upload, because you only need to upload like inputs and stuff. You don't need to upload any video information. The download's going to be significant, but I wonder how it'll affect people who want to stream on Twitch and play on Stadia. And I think that's why they're going to incentivize you to use Google, right? The whole point is for you to use YouTube gaming, because it's all in their data center. So you can literally stream, if you're playing on Stadia and you're using YouTube gaming, those two servers are sitting right next to each other. Like you don't even need to transcode anything. It's just going to
be on the same rack.
It's going to feed that stream directly back to your viewers, right? And then they have the ability to click and join your game and stuff. So that's like a huge selling point for content creators and streamers. And they did push that quite a bit. They were like, this is going to take interaction with your community to the next level. So
yeah, Matt Pat from Game Theory was really selling that one. And then I just saw another clip the other day, I think it was yesterday, where a guy saw that be announced, and he was like, I've spent so much of my time trying to get away from you guys, and now you can just join into my game directly.
Yeah, that's pretty intense. I mean, that could be the main selling point, is if it is playable and it is that low latency and that easy to join games and that easy to connect to your community, I could see content creators definitely jumping onto it. Gamers, like your average gamer, I don't know. Time will tell, but
yeah, it'll be hard for someone that like already has like a gaming PC or has already purchased a lot of stuff like with their Xbox or PlayStation to want to swap to this system.
Right. I mean, I've got a pretty strong PC with a Steam account with 500 plus games, plus like Origin and Twitch and all the other accounts I have with games sitting in them that I never play. I've got a PlayStation 4 that right now is basically my glorified media center, but I do have a couple games for it when I want to like veg out on the couch. I've got a Wii U, mostly for Mario Maker and a couple other games. And I have a phone that I play like mobile games on half the time. So and then if I am streaming something, it's usually Netflix or Hulu or whatever. So is there space for me personally? I don't know.
Don't worry, soon there'll be the one-stop shop for all of that.
Unless there's some crazy flagship, like there's going to have to be something that convinces people to buy it. And I've made the same argument about VR. VR is novel and it's cool and stuff. There still hasn't been that like flagship game. There hasn't been the World of Warcraft of VR yet, right? There isn't that truly immersive like must-have experience that everyone's talking about.
I think Stadia might help with that though. Because now you only need, like, if they could make it so you just need to plug in your your VR headset
That's
into a
true.
cheapo computer and then just stream all of it with very low latency.
That combination,
That's where the issue comes in.
no, that could be what sells it. If they take their data centers and their video and just sheer processing power and let you plug your VR headset in and connect to all of their hardware and just like jump into a VR world with zero configuration. Because right now, not only do you have to have a headset, you also have to have a video card strong enough to play it. Because like my video card is one generation too old. I have a 980. I could probably do it, but like they recommend at least like a 1060 or 1070. So that, I mean, and then with their data centers, yeah, they could have a massive like World of Warcraft or like Second World like 2.0 or Sims or
Third world.
Yeah, like they could do it on their servers. And
then at that point it's just, can you get the latency low enough to where people can actually play it without feeling sick?
yeah, that's
where
true.
If you have Google Fiber, it's probably going to be low enough.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be, imagine playing like GTA 5 but all the NPCs walking around are other people. But and you're doing it in first person VR. That now I hadn't thought about that. I hadn't thought about connecting VR to Stadia. That could definitely be a selling point for me. Now I want it. That would convince me to buy a VR headset.
Yeah, because right now there's not really like a ton going for VR. Like Beat Saber is cool. That's really niche.
Yeah, I love
Like
Beat
VR
Saber, but
chat.
it's not enough for me to buy one. That's what I'm saying. There's no flagship. There's no Mario of VR, you know? There's no like
There's
that.
no VR MMO yet.
The reason I bought a PlayStation was because of Final Fantasy VII. Like straight up. Like at the time it was such an amazing revolutionary like game that I my Nintendo 64 got stolen. My house got robbed. And when I got the insurance money, it was like right when like Final Fantasy 7 or 8 or something came out, and Metal Gear Solid. Like there was all these games that had come out recently on PlayStation that convinced me to buy it because they were like that good. And there just isn't that on VR for me yet. I haven't seen anything that's convincing enough for me to buy it. So VR Stadia could be oof. Now I'm kind of excited. I want to.
That could be the killer app.
Yeah, I'd plug into that and never disconnect again. So, I don't know. We'll see. It's the last point I'll make about Stadia. My last concern about it is the fact that it is all done remotely. Again, going back to the whole idea of being a developer and a modder and a creator, a huge part of gaming up until now has been modding. Because a lot of people have good ideas, but they don't have the technical knowledge to build a game engine, right? So for years, people with ideas have been able to just use existing tools to mod. You know, like we talked about this a lot of times. Counter-Strike came from a mod. League of Legends came from a mod from another game. You know, all of these things that we have today are the result of mods of other games and other engines. How would you do modding in that environment? Could you even do modding? Because it's all hosted remotely. You don't have access to the game or the code or the engine or anything. And so it's kind of discouraging that you'd basically be playing by their rules and their environment. You wouldn't. I don't know how that would work.
Yeah, it'd be kind of like was it Fallout 4, where yes, you could mod it, but then they also had the Creators Club, where you like, oh, you can mod it, but only in specific ways that we'll allow.
Right. Well, and then, sorry, I know I said that was the last thing, but the other one that reminded me of is compensation. Because if you look at other streaming services, right? So let's look at the music industry. Artists don't make shit from streaming services, right? Like they make these days artists pretty much have to tour and sell merch and do other things, cross promotions, whatever. They don't make they make very little money from, even if their songs have been played millions of times. The way the contracts are written, like on Spotify and Apple Music and stuff, they don't make a lot of money at all. And I'm concerned that games take a lot of money to make. They take a lot of money to develop, to support, to patch, to, you know, release additional content. They take a lot of money to develop. And if Google's not compensating people who are hosting their games on these platforms, if they're not making enough money off of these platforms, they're going to turn to alternative methods of making money. And the best example of how to make lots of money from a game currently is the mobile market. And so what I'm concerned with is them adopting mobile practices to fill the gap, because they're going to take a loss, right? There's no way they can make as much on Google streaming service as they do from straight up selling copies of their game. I don't know. Like, I guess you could use the free to play model, and they could add like more cosmetic stuff and whatnot.
More microtransactions.
Yeah, but more microtransactions means
more scummy pay to win.
Yeah, like, you know, and when you on mobile, you expect that, and I don't want that to become, you know, we talked about, you know.
Yeah, it's been creeping into some AAA games like the Assassin's Creed. It's like, oh yeah, you can get our gold coins, and it's like, this is a AAA game. People paid $60 for. Why are you nickel and diming people for in-game currency in a single-player game?
It's starting to happen, and I think this Google Stadia platform would probably accelerate that significantly. That's my concern, is that people would be like, cool, we can throw it on Google and then just micro-transact the shit out of it. Because they'll get the numbers. But if they're not making enough from those numbers, then they're going to find ways to make more. So that's concerning for me, I guess. We got to take a break. I ranted there quite a bit. I don't know. I have very strong feelings about this, and I'm really concerned about it. I hope it's good, but I hope that it doesn't become the norm. I hope it's an option, but Google's really good at convincing people to use their stuff, and that's what concerns me. I hope people still make little dev games, and I hope that Humble Bundle and GOG.com stay strong and continue to give you DRM free shit that you can download and play with and mod. And I hope that Google does everything they say they do, and that it's a good tool, and for those who want to use it can use it, but I hope it doesn't impact the gaming community.
Don't ruin the ecosystem.
Exactly. I think that's what I'm trying to say. You summed it up perfectly. Don't ruin the game ecosystem. I don't know. I'm very concerned about it, because Google has a lot of money and a lot of influence, and I just hope they do the right thing.
Before you know it, that game you're streaming to your phone while you're playing the newest Assassin's Creed, they stream an ad right on top of it.
Ew. Why do you make me sad? All right, we're going to take a short break. We'll be back in a few minutes. We'll have a Sheef's beef, and then we'll probably call it a night. I just realized it's like 7:45 already. So, yeah, we'll do Sheef's beef, and then hope you guys come back for that. Did I download it? Yeah, I downloaded it. All right, so we'll be back in a few minutes. Go do what you got to do, and I'll see you in a minute. All right, I am back. We're going to jump right into some hot, spicy beef from our man, our friend, the myth, the legend, Mr. Meshyf, twitch.tv/Meshyf, MESHYF. He's a good man. He sold me my car. For those who don't know, he makes a little pre-made video for us called Sheef's Beef, where he gives us two topics that he's not very happy about. We get to debate those two topics and decide which one is the beefiest, which one is the most upsetting, which one is the bigger beef. Anyone in chat or at home, you can play along. We're going to watch his little video and discuss what he has to offer us this week. So I'm gonna pull that up here. I haven't pulled it up yet actually, and I'll bring James on while I'm doing that. Let's see.
Welcome.
Whoop, not yet. All right. Pause the music. You got it up? Hello. Are you there, James? You got it up?
Oh, I forgot to unmute myself. I thought I hit the button. Clearly, I was wrong.
All right. So James is now here. He's present and unmuted. We're gonna start this beef. You ready?
I am.
All right. As you know, on go. So 1, 2, 3, go.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Sheef's Beef!
Cursed Meshyf.
Welcome, everyone, to the ring. I'm your host, Meshyf, bringing you this week's hot and spicy beefs. We're going to put two beefs head-to-head and figure out which of the two is the absolute beefiest beef of the week. We're also going to come to a conclusion for our beef giveaway.
Woo!
We're going to see who won the illustrious beef hoodie. And I even have a little something special for the runner-up. But first, our first beef of the week is Operation Varsity Blues.
Ooh.
If you haven't heard about this story, the short, nitty-gritty version of it is a bunch of celebrities got caught paying their kids' way into college. Now, I know, hey, Meshyf, they always pay their way into kids' college. No, these people bribed an admissions counselor to getting their kids into these schools under conditions that they wouldn't normally have met. And, you know, normally you buy like a wing of a school, you build a library, a parking lot, some sort of legal bribe to get your kid in, right? Oh, that's Sheef Tower right there. That's our Sheef library.
Sheef
and
Tower.
then all of a sudden, my kids can go to this school. That happens all the time. And you know what? I'm almost okay with that because at least the school got something out of it. This is just an admissions counselor that's gone rogue. He's against the rules. He's in the dark zone and he's getting paid when the school should be the one getting paid. They should be getting the bribes. And you know what? That's a fucking beef. And what's irritating as a college student myself at some point in my life, it's been a while, trust me, but as a college student at one point, I had to put a semester on hold. Whole semester. Had to wait a whole semester to get into this stupid fucking math class because a senior citizen registered a day before me, and she's just there for continuing education. You know, just there for funsies. But I had to wait. If only I had $500,000 for my parents to spend on admissions counselors, then it wouldn't have mattered. But instead, I had to wait a whole quarter longer to get started with my life because I didn't have any fucking money like these people. And you know what? It's great that they got caught. It's fantastic. But here's the thing. This is a very small portion. This is the tip of the iceberg. It's a juicy, drama-filled iceberg, but it is happening at schools across the country, guaranteed. This shit's happening. Fuck those rich people that just can't do it the right way, especially when you have every advantage in the world and you just resort to money. That's fucking lazy. You're the first beef of the week. Second beef is Armchair Crypto King. Now, it's been a couple of
blast from the past.
In Bitcoin, nothing wrong with Bitcoin. If you invest in Bitcoin, got no qualms with you. But here's the thing. About 8 months ago, 9 months ago, I had a couple, I want to say like 5 or 6 people at work that were just in my ear all day about cryptocurrency and how they were investing. You got to get in, man. It's the ground floor.
They probably lost
Now's
a lot
the time
then.
to invest. We're going to be rich. We're going to retire.
Invested in
I had people
Bitcoin
at work putting all their
next.
money into Bitcoin and telling me I was a fool for not investing. And I might be a fool for not investing in Bitcoin. Okay? That's besides the point. But all these people that took a bunch of money, I'm talking a lot of money, and told me, hey, come next year, I'm going to have tripled this shit, and I'm out of here. Well, sorry to say, all those people are still at fucking work.
Yep.
And you know what? They don't talk about a whole lot now. It's Bitcoin. And Bitcoin's cool. But I love that they have kind of been put in their place. Ka-cha! Ka-cha! Because I'm so fucking sick and tired about hearing about the next big thing, the next big investment, what's going to go viral in the investment world. Well, you know what's going to go viral? Something that the average person probably doesn't have access to, sad to say. The next IPO, the next big coin, the next big this or that. By the time the regular person, like you and me, has a chance to get a hold of it, it's too late. You're too late. The real money's already gone. Here's how you get rich, you armchair crypto kings. Work hard, save your money, invest modestly, and don't get a big fucking head about it. Thank you to everyone at work that was peacocking around saying they were going to retire, that, you know what? They showed up to work. They're still showing up to work, and they're going to continue showing up to work. Those are our beefs of the week. You armchair crypto kings and Varsity Blues. Now, when we get back, I want to hear what Jimmy, James, chat, what you guys all have to say about our two beefs of the week and which of the two is the absolute beefiest beef. And then we're going to find out who's the winner of the giveaway.
All right. Oh, I'm at 522.
Same.
Cool. What do you think?
Where should we start?
It's up to you. I want to hear what you got to say.
All right. Well, just because it came up in one of my lectures today, coincidentally, the Varsity Blues. And, Meshyf touched upon a very interesting point that I'm pretty sure most people were already aware of, that rich people already have the advantage, You don't need a building, the parking lot, and then your kid gets in. That's kind of the unspoken agreement.
Right.
Because I saw the argument on Reddit earlier when it was hot. And it was like, see, if I have all this money and don't need a building to get my kid in, see, that building's going to benefit more than just my kid. It's a net positive overall.
Right. At least it benefits not like the university or the community, or it's something that is above and beyond just your asshole getting into the school. Like you
like if I donate a whole research wing, then that lets in even more students. So it's a net positive.
You're contributing to the greater good. You build Science Hall 3 and now more kids can go to science classes. Then that offsets your little brat going to the school.
But then the big thing that this one was, when you bribe an administrator to get your kid in, now that's just shady, underhanded tactics. Because from what I saw, some of these students weren't even aware that their parents were doing it. Some of them were. They were able to prove some of these students did know. But others, some of them just thought oh, I'm taking the ACT at home. My mother's proctoring it, and then she's going to deliver it. This is normal. I guess some people do this. And then what they don't know, hey, your mother faked it. It was a whole ploy to get you because you were not good enough, or I guess not qualified enough to get into some of these schools. And it was funny because one of the girls in one of my lectures actually said one of the schools that was being investigated for this, she did apply, and she was right on the cusp of it. So she was asked by, I guess they're forming a class action lawsuit. They asked her hey, would you want to come forward and be represented by this class action lawsuit because you may have been affected by this case? So for that one, that hurts me. Because I applied to a lot of colleges, none of these really big names. I didn't have my aspirations weren't that high. I was I'm a good student. I'm not that good of a student.
Right.
But I had friends that were applying to some of these colleges, and to think they really put in the time and effort, and they were very talented, and the odds are they might have not been accepted because someone else paid their way, and that strikes a chord with me. And then for the Crypto Kings, I just find that one really funny because it was the drop was December 2017, when everyone was it's going to the moon, you got to get in now, it's get rich quick. And then it plummets down to it was at 20,000 and it plummeted to 2K.
It's back up to 4 though. It's been slowly climbing recently.
It's been slowly climbing. But then you have the people like Meshyf described that are this is it. This is the get rich quick scheme. It's if you're like that, you're the ones getting duped and losing the money. To the other people actually making the money.
Unless you pull a JC stream and you dupe other people and profit off of other people's idiocy.
Oof.
No. Yeah. So on the varsity one, the Varsity Blues investigation or whatever, what are the two beefs? I missed it. So the two beefs are the Varsity Blues, what was it called? Operation Varsity Blues.
Mhm.
All those people that got busted for bribing their kids into school. And the other one is cryptocurrency kings, or like basically people who thought that they were gonna make it rich and like were telling everyone you got to invest. Oh, I'm gonna invest. I'm gonna quit my job, make millions, and I'm like that thought they knew everything about everything and that they were gonna make it big. And they convinced everyone around them that crypto was the hot shit and that it was their ticket to money and fame.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the two beefs. So on the varsity one, Operation Varsity Blues, the beef is actually not the investigation. The beef is the people who bribed to get their kids into school. Just so I'm clear, which I think on a large scale, as far as impact on society, that one is clearly the bigger beef. Like that had a very direct
really no contest.
Yeah, like Varsity Blues for show. However, playing devil's advocate a little bit, did any of us honestly believe that shit wasn't happening?
Oh no,
like when it happened, I wasn't even mad because it was like, duh. Like I couldn't. I assumed that shit was happening all the time. Do you know how many business deals are done on the golf course? Like, like people think that hard work, like, yeah, Meshyf, I agree to some extent that hard work and saving and modest investing will get you to a certain level. But like, there's a line that is drawn eventually where unless you're going to the same country clubs and eating at the same places and on the same golf courses as these people, you're never going to make it to that. Like all the really big deals happen on the field, in the clubs, at a dinner table. Like it's all who you know, and it's all like, so as much as I wanted to be upset about it, it really didn't surprise me at all. And so I like, as mad as I want to be about it, to me, it was like, yeah, duh. Like
the sentiment was exactly that. It was like, oh, the thing everyone thought about as being like the norm, people got caught for it. Wow. Like it was one of those things that everyone knew was happening, but like we didn't know the extent. But we're like, yeah, rich people can buy their way into college. Like
they can buy their way into anything. I mean, college is just one example, and I'm glad that they got caught. But am I that upset about it? Not. I mean, I should be. I guess maybe I'm desensitized to the fact that the 1% do whatever the fuck they want. Maybe I should be more upset about it. I guess. I don't know.
If anything, it's going to be the schools that are the most mad, because now like their legitimacy is going to get like criticized. Like, oh, like how many of like your students actually were qualified? And like, are you neglecting actually like top tier students just because people paid in?
You have a really good point there, because colleges are already like, it's starting to happen, but like the whole college system is kind of already on the chopping block. When you have people like Elon Musk who are like, I don't give a shit if you have a degree, if you know what you're doing. Like, with the amount of information you can learn just by like paying for a course on the internet, like you can go to Udemy and learn how to do whatever. Like there's the resources for those who want to learn a skill are there. And so the whole like formal education thing is kind of becoming a huge gray area. And these huge establishments are already kind of being looked at differently. And so, like you said, this is not helping. This is just going to further kind of illegitimize the whole like higher education system and official, like, oh, you got to get a credentialed degree and all this stuff. Do you really? Like,
yeah, it's going to turn into a thing where it's like, you go to college if you want to be like a doctor or an engineer, you know, stuff that like is really technical type stuff, but everything else is going to be like, maybe you don't need one. Like accounting, it's like, yes, you need, like, you need that just to show like you know some stuff, and then that's just the requirement to do a CPA is just a degree in something. It doesn't even have to be in accounting. You just need a degree.
Right.
So
Yeah.
other than that specific stuff, it's like, why go to college?
Yeah, to become a lawyer, a lot of people don't realize to become a lawyer, like obviously you have to go to law school, but to get into law school, like you can have, there's like 6 different things you can get a degree in, and all you have to do is pass the test. Right.
Mhm.
So, and I think that's what's going to start happening more and more. A lot of these certifications and a lot of these, like, especially in the IT world, it's already this way. You can get there's a lot of IT certifications that you can get just by paying and taking a test.
Mhm.
You can buy the books if you want. You can take a class if you want. But what it really comes down to, if you pass the test, you know the stuff. Same with some of the, like Lady Navio works in HR. Some of the HR certifications that she's looking at, like, it's just a matter of you can take some courses, but ultimately it's about taking a series of tests and passing those tests. So how you learn the material, I think, is becoming less and less relevant. And a lot of these prestigious schools, I think they need to be careful of moving forward about,
Mhm.
how they're perceived by society.
Yeah, especially when one of the biggest perks of going to these schools was saying like, oh, well, I graduated from Harvard Law School. Like part of it was like saying the name. And if that gets criticized and it's not as good anymore, then
Right.
it's like on par with every other school now.
Yeah, if you say I graduated from Harvard and then their immediate response is, "Oh, you mean that school that lets you buy your way in?"
Mm-hmm.
Like that's not ideal.
Mm-hmm. And imagine all the people that didn't buy their way in and got degrees from these schools thinking like the legitimacy of my degree is now going to be called into question.
Yeah, people are going to question me when I actually did it the right way. Yeah. So I definitely think that's the bigger beef. If I stand by my general rule of taking a step back and saying which one has a bigger impact on society as a whole, it's got to be that one. It's got to be all these rich assholes paying their kids into school. However, I do agree. If you would have been a little more broad than specifically crypto kings, I think if you would have gone a little broader than that and said just like, how do you phrase this? Not know-it-alls, but like armchair experts, maybe is what people who are way too overconfident about their knowledge in general. And I fall into this category sometimes. I act like I know everything about everything.
One Reddit article, Jimmy, and suddenly you think you're the expert.
No, but like I've never tried to like. The difference is like there's armchair experts who just like to voice their opinion, which I usually try and say, I don't know, but this is what I think. It's one thing to have an opinion. It's another thing to actively try and convince other people to act on your beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of, I think, at the heart of what he's trying to say is like a lot of these crypto people were actively trying to convince other people to do what they were doing, right? You need to invest in this. You're going to make millions. Let's do this. Like, it was,
Mm-hmm. Have you heard of BitConnect?
Yeah. The BitConnect is it's a call to action where they're like, I have this knowledge. And if you do what I'm doing, you can be rich and famous too,
Mm-hmm.
And so it's one thing to have strong opinions. It's another thing to actively attempt to convince other people to act on your beliefs. That's where it becomes kind of dangerous. I don't know. So like in a general sense, that can be a huge problem. But crypto kings specifically, I think it's funny. I like you said, it's kind of
really funny.
It's like, all these people that thought they were going to get rich, and then like as soon as it bottomed out, and it's making its way back up now, and I still think that the blockchain has practical applications, but it's funny when people get the dollar signs in their eyes and think that like they're going to make it big.
Mm-hmm. It's when you go away from the idea of like, this is going to revolutionize currency to people saying, this is going to make me rich. Like that's where the disconnect happens. Because now they're away from the tech. They're just thinking about the money.
And you know how I am about I love catchphrases. I spout them off all the time. And one of the catchphrases that perfectly defines Bitcoin, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So there's your anecdote to describe these types of people. I don't know. It's funny. I don't think it's the bigger beef. So I agree. I think the bigger beef is definitely rich assholes trying to bribe their way in without contributing. I agree there's a gray area. If you donate a football stadium, everyone benefits from that. I don't give a shit if your kid gets into the school. At least you did something for society. But if you're going to straight up pay someone or Photoshop, what did you see that one of them Photoshopped their kid's face on a pole vaulter?
Mm-hmm.
And emailed it back, and they're like, "Yeah, we'll get him in on an athlete scholarship." Like that shit's just ridiculous, and like I'm glad they got caught, and fuck them for trying to pull that off. And I'm glad the FBI has been sitting on it. They waited until they had a whole bunch of them.
Mm-hmm. Just Tuntsville. They're like, we got stacks on stacks on stacks of people we know have done this. We've been watching for a while.
Yeah, I love that. Like the FBI does ban waves the same way Blizzard does in WoW. They just like they just been waiting, just sitting on it, just collecting all the info, just being like, yeah, we got 50. What 50's probably good. Well, let's go ahead and put it out there. It's awesome, and fuck those people. Fight me. Email me, hitthebucketpodcast@gmail.com. Tell me why your asshole deserves to be in college more than everyone else who worked their ass off. We'll have you on as a guest, and come on, let's do it. I hate you, and you don't deserve it. Just because you were born into whatever status. James needs college too.
I mean, I applied to like 5, got into 4, got accepted to 4. So, see, I kept my aspirations like very real. I was like, I'm not going to make it to these big name colleges. I'll go for these middle ones, apply to some in New York. Now I'm here in Vermont. Should have went somewhere warmer.
Hey, but you know what? If you had gotten into another school, you wouldn't have got to go bowling with Biet.
That's true. That's very true. If one of those rich pricks didn't take my spot from University of Chicago, I would have never came to Vermont. And that's what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so I think everyone's pretty much unanimously decided we should probably move on. It's getting late. I think we all agree that rich assholes who bribe their kids into schools are definitely the bigger beef this week. Cool. So let's finish this up. And he said he had an announcement. We wanted to announce our winner. So I hope they're watching. I hope if you submitted a beef to Mr. Meshyf, that you're watching the podcast right now, because he's going to announce the winner of the beef sweater. So are you ready? 522.
Mm-hmm. I'm ready to go when you are.
All right, on go. 1, 2, 3, go.
Jimmy, James, chat, welcome back. Let's find out which of the two is the absolute beefiest. But first, we've got ourselves a little contest to figure out which is the winner of the beef giveaway. We got ourselves the hoodies to give away, boys and girls. And the winner of the biggest beef giveaway beef of the week. Can I say beef one more time? Is Ogre. Meshyf TV, I have a beef for you, brother. How about all of those follow groups that lure in fledgling content creators with the lie that a stray follower subscription will help your channel grow? Hashtag hit the bucket.
Ooh.
Exactly. This is a fantastic
That's a good one.
beef. Because even as a very small streamer myself, I've got these fucking people coming into my chat. And you know what? There's bots doing this too. Run in, spam follow in every single channel that you can, and then follow that person, and then get out and hope that it grows your channel. You know how that works? It fucking doesn't. It's just the most cringy, awful thing that you can do. This is how 3-year-olds think you build an audience on any platform. And you know what? It's fucking wrong. Ogre, this is a fantastic beef. Check your DMs, brother. You got yourself a beef hoodie on the way. Woo! And now, the biggest beef of the week is Operation Varsity
That's
Blues.
expected.
Yep.
Now, it's interesting and it's kind of spicy that it's celebrities, but the big problem here is that this is systemic. This is happening all over the country. If you think it's some shitty school that nobody wants to go to, guess what? Some rich guy's got a dumb kid they need to run through college so they can come back and run the factory or whatever nonsense is going on out there. And that's how you get all these idiots in middle management or upper management that don't know what the hell's going on because they have no grounding of what real life is like and very little to no education because mommy and daddy bought them everything that they needed, including a diploma and a couple good grades. So, Operation Varsity Blues, you are the biggest beef of the week.
Oh.
That was horrifying.
What? What?
It's like a glitch in the Matrix.
It was. I'm not sure. I wasn't sure if there was like maybe a hidden something at the end there. All right, man. Ogre Magi. That's awesome. I'm going to have to.
Winner of the beef hoodie.
Lady Navio said, I want a beef hoodie. Well, maybe if you watch the show more, you would be able to submit a beef because he's been announcing that giveaway for like 2 weeks. She's going to come down here and be mad at me because I'm calling her out. But yeah, no, we've been trying to get submissions for like more than 2 weeks. I think like 3 or 4 weeks now.
I think 4.
Yeah, because we didn't have podcasts for 2 of those. Shh.
Don't worry about it.
Anyway, thank you, Meshyf, as always, for providing us with the beef. We appreciate it.
It was good. It was extremely relevant.
No, I'm glad I actually wanted to talk about the whole Varsity Blues thing, but it was a couple weeks ago, so I kind of forgot about it. So I'm really glad that you made it a beef so that we could bring it back up and talk about it. I appreciate that. In really, really quick news, I did want to show here. I'm going to mute it. I don't want this to get copyrighted. It might get copyrighted anyway. Maybe I'll just play it on low volume while we talk. But Cuphead is coming to the Switch. That is awesome. I love Cuphead, and I think Switch is the perfect platform for it.
I played it on an Xbox. I was like, this game angers me. Damn, it's good.
One of my highest viewed clips on my Twitch channel was me kicking ass on a boss on Cuphead. I played all the way through it. I really enjoyed it. I love platformers, and I love the challenge. I thought it was really like it was really challenging, but it was one of those games where you just like got to learn the patterns, got to grind it out, and it's really rewarding and it's fun to play. So I think it's a great marriage between the Switch and Cuphead. I'm excited to see that.
It's another game that got added to the Switch and just makes me want to buy one. Because every time I'm just like, well, I don't have the money for it yet. And then I see, oh, new game. Oh, Cuphead? And then the list just keeps growing.
It does. And Lady Navio, I'm telling you right now, Christmas 2019, we may have a Switch in our home because I don't know how long I can go without playing Tetris 99. You guys know how I feel about Tetris. I'm like I watch people stream that game and I'm just like chomping at the bit to play that game. Like I gotta, I don't know.
You're ready to do some sick T-spins?
Well, yeah, because I actually follow a few Tetris streamers and I've been watching them play it and and then I watched Northern Lion play it, and I'm like,
I could do better than this.
It makes me hurt inside because I'm like, no, I honestly think I would be pretty decent at it.
Look, you don't watch Northern Lion for the skilled gameplay.
Nuclear Goose says he's pretty good now. Has he been practicing? All right. Well, when I watched him, it was pretty painful to watch. But we'll see. Maybe I'll call him out. Maybe I'll challenge him to a duo. In other news, I'm not going to play this trailer either. It's kind of just them talking. Bill and Ted 3. I don't know. I mean, I'm 35, so I watched the first two and I loved them. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. I think I made Lady Navio watch the first Bill and Ted movie.
It's a good one. It's a great film.
I love quotable movies, and there's so many good moments in that movie. Just like, hey, Bill, your stepmom is kind of hot, though. Remember when I asked her to prom? Shut up, Ted. Like, there's just so many great. I don't know. It's fantastic, and they seem genuinely excited about making the movie. And in this little video, they talk about how like it was really the fans who have been like. I feel like it's kind of one of those Weezer Africa things where like people have just like been asking for it for so long that eventually they're like, cool, fine, we'll make it. And they seem genuinely like,
fine. You really pushed us to really make this movie.
but like you can see how here, I'll mute it and I'll just play it. But you can see how just like genuinely excited they are. Like Keanu Reeves is just like bouncing around and they're just like, I don't know. I hope that they just have fun with it. It's probably not going to be a blockbuster. Like, it's not going to be, like, the greatest plot. But none of those movies... It was all about just San Dimas football and traveling through time and shenanigans and, like... I don't know. I really hope that it's fun. And whatever. I'll watch it and I'll enjoy it. And I think it's cool that at this point in Keanu's career... Like, I don't know what... I don't even know the other actor's name. Like I don't know what he's done or he's been up to, but like he seems happy and healthy and excited to do it. So I don't know. I had to point that out because I'm a huge fan of the original movies. And I think that's it. I think that's actually the other one that I just saw today, that I'm pretty excited about it. A trailer just came out for Quentin Tarantino's next movie.
Oh, which one is that?
I want to say it's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Sounds familiar.
I think it's Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt are the main.
Okay, yeah, I have heard of it.
And it's based on an actor. I forget who. But I watched the trailer today on my lunch break at work, and I was super excited about it. I think Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt together is a phenomenal combination, and the trailer was very entertaining, and I'm a huge Quentin Tarantino fan, so I'm looking forward to that one. It says 2019. Oh, God damn it. See, now I'm remembering shit. Also, the Stranger Things trailer for season 3. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Did you watch it?
I haven't watched it. I know it's there.
After this podcast, you got to go watch that trailer. Season 2 was kind of like season 2 was
it was downhill compared to the first one.
I mean, the first one was so good that expectations were really, really high. And season 2 wasn't terrible, but like I think because everyone was comparing it to season 1, it was just like, okay, yeah, it was good. It had great moments in it. But
they went a bit left field. Like they introduced like some characters that like it didn't really fit, but it came back around.
Dude,
it wasn't so out of left field that it was like, wait a minute, this really makes no sense at all.
Season 3, the trailer just has me so excited. Like, because season 1, like the reason it was so great is there was so many nods to like 80s pop culture, right? Like it's kind of the whole Ready Player One thing. It's just there was so many just like direct references to like movies and games and D&D and all these things about the 80s. And season 2 still had quite a bit of that, but they kind of went a different direction. Season 3 is straight up like they're getting into the later 80s and it's the whole trailer is just like nostalgia city, and it's just like a feel good, like it still has that dark side to it and there's some twisted shit in there that you're like, oh damn, but like it's a really, really fun trailer, and I'm super excited about it. I think season 3 might like, I think it's gonna like fully, it's like Toy Story 2 to Toy Story 3, like 1 and 3 were just like, you know. I think season 3 is gonna be. I think they've found the magic again. So yeah, after this podcast, you should all go watch that trailer. I'll
load it up now.
And I think that's it. I think that's all the excited for Stranger Things. Yes, Stranger Things season 3. I mean, you should go watch the other trailers I mentioned too. Definitely check out the trailer for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I know that I said I'm trying to avoid trailers lately, but I couldn't resist. These ones were, and they were honestly, if they would have started giving away too much plot, I would have turned them off. But they were good teasers. I feel like they didn't give too much plot away. So rest assured, it has the JimmyNavio seal of approval. It's not gonna ruin it for you, because there's literally movies I haven't watched to this day because I watched the trailer and I was like, I don't need to see this now. I know exactly.
It's like, oh, thanks for explaining the entire plot.
Yeah,
Who the surprise enemy was, all the character development. It was a good 3-minute movie.
Yeah. So, but I can say that the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Stranger Things 3, those trailers are solid, and I feel like they didn't give too much away, so you're safe. All right, man. Well, thanks for joining us this week, James. Thanks for taking time out of your Wednesday night. Thanks
for bringing me on.
Yeah. Anything going on in your world? Any YouTubes happening, or is school keeping you pretty locked down?
I've been pretty locked down this week, mostly because I procrastinated a lot over spring break. Because I was just like, finally, a long break where I don't have to worry about anything. And then the weekend came up, and I was like, oh yeah, I actually got stuff to worry about.
Yep, it happens. Well, let us know, man.
My summer's almost here.
Oh, what is that? You mentioned that game to me, and I looked it up, and I want to I want to queue up that game with you and play it. The tug of war one that has like the towers, something Legion or.
Oh, Rise of Legions.
Yes.
I believe so.
We need to play that game. I watched a trailer of it, and I'm definitely interested in checking that out and trying it out. No offense, Dan, but we gotta try it out. I know it's not Minion Masters. Let's see who's on right now. Is anyone from the team on? We gotta find someone to. He said it's cool.
Let's see. It looks like Battle Athlete's on.
Ooh, what's he playing? Oh, he's playing some old school like Marvel versus Capcom or something.
Yeah, it's the Hulk fighting Spider-Man. What is this?
It looks like one of the old Marvel versus Marvel superheroes, Fightcade. Yeah, let's go say hi to him. All right, well, thanks everyone for being here. Again, if you want to reach out to us, it's hitthebucketpodcast@gmail.com. You can also go to hitthebucket.com and find links to all of our social media. Please like, rate, subscribe, review, all that stuff. I really want to try and bring in more folks. The more people we have, the more contributions, the more we can do. It's only going to get better from here. So, oh, you know what? One other thing I want to mention. I want to be held accountable. So I thought about whether or not I should mention this, but I'm going to mention it. I listened to a podcast with a comedian that I really like. His name is Pete Holmes. Many of you probably heard of him. And he talked about a book that he read recently that got his alcohol consumption under control. So I'm going to read the book. I refuse to admit that I am an alcoholic. I don't think I am. I enjoy alcohol, but, you know.
Not excessively.
But the book really interested me, so I'm going to read it. And the book is called This Naked Mind Control Alcohol. So I went and picked it up at Barnes & Noble today, and I'm going to give it a read and see how it goes. I'm not saying I'm quitting drinking for good, but I definitely want to reflect on my habits. And I think everyone should from time to time. I think it's a healthy thing to be honest with yourself and do some growing and self-realization. So I'm going to take a look at that, and I'll report back. Maybe week to week, I'll see how it's going and see how much I've read and if I've made any progress in that area.
Buckets Anonymous. Meets every Wednesday.
Oh, and I also recently got the Robinhood app, and I've made like $15. So, you know, if you guys want a referral link, let me know, because I get free stocks if you use my link. Oh, so shameless tonight. I don't even care. All right, let's go ahead and Raid Battle Athlete. Go say hi to him. Give him some love. He's really, really, really good at fighting games. It's fun to watch someone who's good at something. So if you're into fighting games, you should definitely take a look at Battle Athlete. He's been playing fighting games for years. He's one of those dudes that's got like a custom-made like
Fight stick
and everything. And he's played them all, and he's fun to watch. He's a cool dude. He's super lewd. And have a good night, everyone. I hope you come back next week. We're gonna line up some guests soon. I've just been really, really busy. A lot going on, wedding, all that stuff. So, but there's more to come. I promise. We're gonna keep it going.
Mm-hmm. And don't forget, be awesome to each other.
Thank you for that Bill and Ted quote. I really appreciate it. Good night.